So the third book that I chose to look at for the theme of individuality is Fancy Nancy, Peanut Butter and Jellyfish by Jane O'Connor. So this book follows Fancy Nancy. It's a series. I read it to actually my tutor girl this year. She's first grade, so we would read Fancy Nancy books together. But so this book follows Fancy Nancy on her class field trip to the zoo. And they go into the aquarium, and Fancy Nancy loves everything she sees. Her and her best friend Bree are running around so happy until Fancy Nancy gets to the jellyfish exhibit, and she tells Bree she doesn't want to go inside. She's afraid of jellyfish, and she doesn't want to see them. So Bree kind of tells Fancy Nancy, you know what, it's okay, let's do this, let's overcome your fear. And Miss Glass, their teacher, comes over and starts talking to Fancy Nancy about how she also was afraid of jellyfish because she was stung by one, which is why Fancy Nancy is afraid of them. And that it's okay to be afraid, but just because you're afraid, it doesn't mean that you have to let it impact every single thing you do. So, my favorite quote from this book is actually, "I'm not scared anymore. I guess jellyfish are pretty amazing." I think that this quote kind of shows how far Fancy Nancy has come and shows that you can overcome your fears. And this expresses the theme of individuality because everyone is afraid of something different. You know, there are a few people who are afraid of the same things, but normally you're kind of afraid of different things than your friends are afraid of. So again, individuality being expressed in a way that we wouldn't normally think about it. And, you know, I think having Miss Glass relate to Fancy Nancy shows students that there are going to be people who relate to you. You may just have to look a little harder to find them. So I chose this book because I think it is a great book for kindergarten to second grade. Kindergarten, it can be used as a read aloud because there are chapters, but they're pretty short. First grade, it can be used as guided reading, which is what I did with my 2D. I would read one page, she would read the next page. And then in second grade, I think is really where, end of first grade, second grade, is where it really starts to become an independent reading book. And this book is a series, so I think it's a great time to delve into a book talk, the author exploration, so finding other books that Jane O'Connor has written. You could even do literature circles, so give each group a different Fancy Nancy book, have them go in their literature circles, do their jobs, and then have them come back and kind of talk about what they learned, how this Fancy Nancy book is different than the other ones. I also chose this book because I think, like I said, it is a new and kind of interesting way to express individuality and showcase that we are all different and we may have fears that we see as weaknesses, but we are able to overcome those fears when we are surrounded by people who support us. So our friends, our teachers, our family, all of those people support us. I would recommend this book to teachers of kindergarten to second grade. Like I said, having it in the classroom library really is something that lets the students explore it on their own time, lets them figure out, hey, I like this book, let's continue reading more of these series, allows those students to, you know, pick the best fit book, which is something we talked about in our class this semester, which is, you know, having students pick the best fit book for them is something that really pushes them and gets them to really love reading and fall in love with the books instead of forcing books upon them that they may not find interesting. I would also rate this book a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed the topics covered because, like I said, it's individuality in a new way that we may not think about. I also really like the book because the pictures in the book are really kind of what made it for me. You are able to see the characters' feelings and emotions and their expressions based off of the pictures, and there actually was some diversity represented in this book, which, you know, we talked about the lenses in this class and in children's literature and how you can view books through different lenses and how diversity is really underrepresented in books, but this book really kind of showcased diversity in a cool, simple way. Discussion prompts for this book, I think, are: have you ever had someone help you overcome a fear? Have you ever helped a friend overcome a fear? Are we all afraid of the same things? And just because someone is afraid of something, does that make it silly because we are not afraid of it ourselves? These questions really open up the topics in the book, and they lead towards individuality and talking about it without directly saying, okay, tell me about how this person in the book was an individual and how do you relate to that individual. This book will be in my future classroom because I think the Fancy Nancy series are awesome. They show Fancy Nancy in a way that expresses who she is as a character and really sees her in a positive light and expresses individuality in every single book that she's in. It helps students see individuality in a new way that they may not normally see it, and it's a great way to start a unit on Fancy Nancy, Jane O'Connor, individuality, diversity, anything like that. You know, these books, Jane O'Connor does an amazing job with figuring out how she's going to set the tone for Fancy Nancy and how it's going to impact the students who read the book.